Hello everybody, Graeme from Frontenac Cycle here with another Brews and Reviews of a sort. I'm with Dr. Ian Gilchrist of High Gear Bike Fitting, based out of the Right Move Physiotherapy in the west end of Kingston. We're drinking a Spearhead Golden Ale, so let's crack those. Yeah. Delicious beer. This is actually the Mahones and Spearhead collaborated. $4 of every 2 goes to Martha's Table. So it's a nice little charity-driven beer. But yeah, so let's get into why we're here. So we're here today talking about bike fitting. Just introduce yourself and how you got into the game.
Sure. So great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
So my name's Ian Gilbert. I'm a registered physiotherapist in town. I've been practicing for 11 years, and cycling has always been a part of my life. And I wanted to combine my passion for cycling with my knowledge in rehabilitation and biomechanics. So I thought it was a great opportunity to provide a service for the community, because there are a lot of avid cyclists in town. We have a great cycling community here, and I just thought it'd be a good opportunity.
Yeah, they definitely go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Cool. Here at High Gear, who's your typical customer for a bike fitting?
Anybody and everybody is a potential client, can benefit from a bike fit. So whether it is just your recreational Sunday rider who has a touring bike or a hybrid bike on the KMP trail, hardcore racers, triathletes, just weekend warriors, road cyclists, mountain biking, triathletes, everybody can benefit from a bike fit. So I've seen quite a variety of clients so far. It's been fantastic.
Yeah. So it sounds like anybody that rides a bike could benefit from a fitting. Why should you get a bike fit?
Great question. So I would say the majority of the time we want to try and maximize comfort on a bike. Our bodies, we are not perfectly symmetrical, so we're trying to fit somebody who is asymmetrical on a perfectly symmetrical machine. Mm-hmm. And that can create the opportunities for repetitive injuries to creep up. So we just want to make sure that when someone comes in for a bike fit, that we're maximizing comfort on the bike, and we also want to prevent injuries from repetitive strain injuries.
Yeah, through comfort you can work on the other things as well.
With that, some people want to come in for a bike fit because they're looking for performance gains. They want to increase power, they're looking for a more aerodynamic position, which we can certainly accommodate. We can get someone into a nice tight aero fit. We can maximize power, but for the most part, it's going to be to maximize comfort and reduce the risk of injury.
Yeah, cool. That's a good baseline. Comfort first.
Comfort first. Yeah.
Can a customer come to you, if they have a specific, wrist, shoulder, neck, knee pain? They can come to you and you can help them with that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I would say there's a good mix of people who have nothing wrong with them, and they just want to come in to optimize their position, see if we can tweak things just to make it a little bit more comfortable. But then there's also a significant portion of the clientele that comes in, they'll have a specific complaint on the bike. Their knee hurts 30 minutes into a ride, their back gets really stiff, their feet go numb, their hands go numb, their shoulders and neck. So oftentimes it could be an on-bike issue that doesn't creep up till they're a good portion into their ride, or it's a pre-existing orthopedic condition from, let's say, a car accident, an old sporting injury. Someone was an athlete in their younger days and they tore their ACL and their meniscus, and they've got osteoarthritis in their knee. That's affecting their ability to ride. We can set them up on the bike and we can try and optimize their position to address that specific ailment on the bike to try and reduce it. And not only do we try and address it with their position on the bike, but we also afterwards I provide a tailored strength training program.
Okay.
With strengthening exercises and mobility exercises to complement the position on the bike.
So at the time of filming this, this is a limited release beer from Spearhead. So yeah, it's supporting a great cause, and it tastes great. If they don't have it in the store, they're constantly doing limited releases. So yeah, you should really check out Spearhead for their limited release beers. They're really good.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So I've come in for my road bike fit, but I've got mountain bikes, I've got gravel bikes, I've got commuter bikes. Can I just apply the road bike fit to my other bikes?
That is a great question. I would probably say a road bike, a gravel bike, and a cyclocross bike are going to be pretty similar, I would say. A mountain bike, I would probably advise against it. I'd probably get a separate fit for a mountain bike, just because the handling of a mountain bike is very, very different than a road bike. The weight distribution is a lot different. On a road bike, the weight is primarily on the back wheel, about 60 on the back versus 40 in the front. A mountain bike, we're looking for more of a 50-50 weight distribution. So there's going to be changes in your interface with the cockpit on a mountain bike.
So you're a physiotherapist who offers bike fitting. Kind of speak to that. What's the advantage there?
Absolutely. So as a physiotherapist, I have an in-depth knowledge of anatomy, physiology, biomechanics, neurology that we can apply to bike fitting. So as a physiotherapy service, the majority of the session is actually done off the bike. I want to look to see how your body moves, identify any asymmetries, identify any weaknesses or imbalances that off the bike that might translate onto the bike. So that's a big thing. Second would be exercise prescription. So all clients who leave a session always leave with a structured exercise program to complement everything that we did on the bike. So that's a big advantage of working with a physio as well. And then the final advantage is that because this is a physiotherapy service, we can, anybody who has private healthcare coverage would be covered under physiotherapy because we're providing physiotherapy service.
Off camera, we were talking about how small changes make a big difference to a fit. 10 millimeter shorter stem, what have you, can make a big difference. What are some of the augmentations you would make during a fit?
Yep. So I would say probably the most common modification we'll make to a bike is saddle height. It is incredible how small a change in saddle height, we're talking anywhere from 10, 15, maybe 20 millimeters in adjusting someone's saddle height, can affect the fluidity of their pedal stroke. That is probably the number one modification that we make. Adjusting the saddle fore aft, so adjusting the rider's position of their pelvis relative to the bottom bracket, has big implications on knee flexion. At the top of the pedal stroke, it has implications at the hip angle, but also the reach. Another really common, really simple modification that can make a world of difference for people is cleat position. Oftentimes people will have a cleat position that's too far forward, which can, when they push down on the pedal stroke, most of the force is going through the ball of their foot. And in between what we call the metatarsal heads, there are a lot of sensitive vascular and neural structures that do pass through there, which over time with enough pressure can cause hot foot, can cause foot pain, can cause foot numbness. So by adjusting the cleat back towards the ankle can eliminate just a myriad of problems with the foot. Right. Just a very, very simple adjustment.
And it's just, we're talking millimeters, yeah.
We're talking millimeters of the cleat can make a night and day difference between someone whose foot goes completely numb on a ride versus feels great. Not only does their foot pain and numbness go away, but their power increases and just overall comfort.
Okay. So do you offer different levels of fitting?
Yep, I offer 2 levels. I offer an essential fit, which is your basic bike fit, and then a much more comprehensive, what I call the elite fit.
Okay.
So with the essential fit, it's intended for your recreational rider, someone who's riding a touring bike, maybe a hybrid, they're running flat pedals, riding less than 3 hours a week, no major orthopedic issues. That's who it's really designed for. You're someone with a road bike who's really serious into riding, they could also elect for the essential fit. There's no problem with that. Mm-hmm. The elite fit is designed for the more serious rider or someone who has more significant orthopedic issues, pain on the bike that will require a more in-depth look into what might be causing the pain. Generally, we recommend it for anybody who's running a clip-in pedal system because we do spend quite a bit of time looking at the foot, looking at the cleat position.
So somebody maybe that it has a specific training regimen or training goal in mind, they would go for the more in-depth.
Yeah. Somebody who needs major changes into their position would also benefit from the elite fit because we don't do everything in one sitting. Mm-hmm. So even with the essential fit, it's done over 2 sessions. So every client comes in for a follow-up. So there's the initial fitting, and then after a period of, well, we're coming into the riding season, 2, 3, 4, 6 weeks, they'll come back in for a second fit just to make sure that everything's good.
Yeah.
Somebody who needs a major overhaul in their position or has major orthopedic issues, it's done in an iterative process because we can't, I wouldn't recommend making huge changes to somebody's position because they're not going to tolerate it.
Yeah.
So if we know if we know where we want to be, like we want to get this person into a better position, but it's going to require huge changes, we do so incrementally.
Makes sense, yeah.
They'll come in over multiple sessions where we'll kind of make adjustments to get them into that final position. And it's just a lot easier to allow their body to adapt over time rather than to try and force them
one big change
because their body will not be happy with it.
How often do you recommend people come in for a bike fitting?
So I would generally recommend a bike fit at least once a year. Everybody's body is going to change over the course of a year, which could affect how their body kind of interfaces with their bike. A more serious rider, let's say a racer or a triathlete, they might be coming in multiple times throughout a year. Someone who is really in tune with their body, who wants adjustments made here and there, they might come in, midway through a season to get some adjustments. But for the most part, I would recommend at least once a year.
Thanks everybody for watching the video. Hope you found it informative. Special thanks to Spearhead for providing the beer and Ian for providing the knowledge.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. If people want to get a bike fit, how do they contact you about that?
They can visit my website at highgearbikefit.ca. They can send me an email, ian@highgearbikefit.ca, or they can find my Instagram account and send me a direct message. And all this information will be in the show notes, I believe?
Yes.
Perfect.
Right down below.
All right, if you enjoyed that video, make sure to hammer that like button and subscribe because we've got more coming to you. Thank you very much.
So then I said to the guy, that's not a bike, that's a duck.